Yes, so welcome back to this part 2 of GST marathon in 100% English language. So we are going to start the next topic, charge of GST. Yes, up till now we have studied the introduction, definitions, and the definition of supply. Along with that definition, we have learned section number 7 and 8. Yes, now we are going to start section number 9, that is charge of GST. Now, in this chapter, there are two sections. One is section number 9 of CGST Act. Yes. Another is the section number 5 of IGST Act. So these two things are there. Yes, these two things are there. Now see here. Now see here. Here in section 9 or section 5. Section 9 of the CGST Act and section 5 of the IGST Act. See here, there are 5 subsections. There are 5 subsections. Now, what are these 5 subsections in front of you? Yes, 9.1, 9.2, 9.3, 9.4, and 9.5. And when we are studying section number 5, it will be 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 5.4, and 5.5. Now, see here, section number 9.1 talks about forward charge. 9.1 talks about intrastate within the state, and 5.1 talks about forward charge interstate, that is out of the state or between the state. 9.252 talks about petroleum products. Petroleum products, high speed diesel, crude, aviation turbine fuel, yes, natural gas, petrol, yes, these products. GST will be levied on this product from a further date notified by the government. This tells us section number 9.2 and 5.2. Now, coming towards 9.353, 9.454. This talks about reverse charge. Yes, reverse charge. Yes, everybody know what is reverse charge? In reverse charge, the recipient is liable to pay tax on the supplies made by the supplier. This thing we are going to cover further. Now, the next 9.555. This two section deals with the e-commerce operator supplies, that are supplies made through e-commerce operator, Amazon, Flipkart, Ola, Uber, Zomato, Swiggy, like this. So we are going to learn this also. Now, first of all, understand one thing. Make yourself understand one thing, that when there is charge, first prove that there is a supply and there is a supply of goods or services or both. If this is proven, after that there will be a charge. Charge on what? Value as per section 15. Value as per section 15. And how there will be charged? Through a rate of GST that you are going to apply on the value as per section 15. After that you will get the tax amount under GST. Yes. And that tax amount is collected by the government from a person who is liable to pay tax. That is the taxable person. Now, this is the process in which these three things together are called as levy. So there is a process of levy and collection as per Article 265 of the Constitution of India. Yes. So, coming further, so in case of reverse charge, there is reverse charge in case of supply of goods, SOG. Yes. And there is reverse charge in case of supply of service. Supply of goods, the list is in front of you. I'm not going to say dictate anything because this is applicable on the final level itself. But in your inter books also, they have given one paragraph, small paragraph on this thing. So that's why I put it these things here. So you can read these things. Now going further. Yes. One main thing, anybody who wants to have this material of GST Brahmastra can click on the link given in the description of this GST Brahmastra book, okay, and have this book from that link. Now, coming to the main parts of charge. Supply of service in case of reverse charge. How supply of service will be taxable in case of reverse charge? In case of reverse charge. Now see here, sir, when we are talking about supply of service, there is a list given here. This is the total list in which you have to keep in mind three things. what is the nature of supply of service, who is the supplier, and who is the recipient. If this is as it is like this, then only reverse charge will take place. Otherwise forward charge. Otherwise forward charge. So you have to keep in mind as it is. No if, no but, only cut to cut. If this, then only reverse charge. So you have to take care of the nature of supply of service, the supplier, and the recipient as it is. Now, so here we'll start with the first service. Services provided by way of sponsorship. This is called as sponsorship services. Sponsorship services. Now quickly we are revising the things. We are not going into the depth. What do we mean by sponsorship? Everybody know what is the meaning of sponsorship. We are going directly to this provision. Sponsorship services provided by any person. Supplier is any person, but the recipient is body, corporate, or partnership firm located in the taxable territory. But the recipient is partnership firm or body corporate located in the taxable territory. In such case, there will be reverse charge, and the recipient will be liable to pay the tax under reverse charge on this supplies made by the supplier. Now, next, legal services. In the legal services, see who is the supplier. Supplier is an individual advocate, including senior advocate or firm of advocate. Yes, supplying to any business entity located in taxable territory. The recipient is liable to pay tax. After that, any services by way of tribunal, arbitral tribunal. Supplier is the arbitral tribunal, again supplying to the business entity located in taxable territory. Then it will be a reverse charge. Yes. After that, government. Any services excluding this two. Any services excluding this two. If government, central government, state government, union territory, local authority is providing any services except these two to a business entity located in taxable territory, it will be under reverse charge. It will be under reverse charge, and the recipient will be liable to pay tax on such supplies. Now, coming further, in this particular supply service by the government, I said that excluding this two, it means on this two there is forward charge. Yes, on this two there is forward charge. Yes, because any services excluding this two provided by government to a business entity located in taxable territory are under reverse charge. So these two are forward charge. There is a question mark. So first of all, the first one, renting of immovable property, is covered here itself in a next another entry. Yes, services supplied by renting of immovable property. Yes, see this, renting of immovable property, and see who is the supplier. The supplier itself is the government, central government, state government, union territory, local authority, and one more person addition to this, excluding the Ministry of Railways. Excluding the Ministry of Railways. Here the Ministry of Railways is included, but here excluding the Ministry of Railways. So there is central government other than Ministry of Railways, state government, union territory, local authority, when they are providing services by way of renting of immovable property to any person registered under the Act, then there will be a reverse charge, and this recipient is going to pay tax on such reverse charge. So first entry, which was excluded from this portion, is covered here. Now what about this portion? Specified services. Specified services. These services are not covered anywhere in this reverse charge list. So there will be always forward charge on such supply of services, specified services. Now what are the services? Services by Department of Post and the Ministry of Railways, Indian Railways. Services in relation to an aircraft vessel inside, outside the presence of a port or airport, and transportation of goods or passengers. In these things there will be a forward charge. Though some entries are there which gives exemption in some services which are related with these topics, but overall many parts of services which are related with these things are under forward charge, which are taxable under the GST. So this was the thing of services provided by government when there is reverse charge and when there is forward charge. So it means, sir, this second type of services are under forward charge. Yes, because this is covered by another entry in the reverse charge list. Now, coming further, services by way of renting of residential dwelling. Now, renting of residential dwelling. You have a residential dwelling and you are giving that residential dwelling on rent. This thing I am going to cover in detail in this exemption chapter. Yes, but for the reverse charge mechanism, see here, if this service is provided by any person, this service is provided by any person to any registered person, then there will be a reverse charge, otherwise forward charge, or as the case may be. I will discuss this in detail in exemption chapter. Now, see some services provided by a director to a company. Yes, there will be reverse charge. So on the services provided by the director, the company is going to pay tax. Yes, or body corporate located in taxable territory. Now, insurance agent providing services to any person carrying on insurance business located in taxable territory. Now, that recipient is going to pay tax on the insurance agent commission. Recovery agent providing services to banking company, financial institution, NBFC. If provided to this people, this person, then only they are going to pay tax under reverse charge mechanism. Say I am telling that recovery agent is providing recovery agent services to a private limited company. So in that case it will be a forward charge because the recipient is not this 3%. Yes, coming further, individual direct selling agents. Individual direct selling agents, the agents which directly sells the product of banking and non-banking financial companies. Yes, banking companies and NBFC. Say for example, the particular group of people who sells the credit card services of a particular bank or NBFC. Yes, like this. So individual DSA directly sells the product of banking company and NBFC. Yes, and NBFC. Now here he should be any person other than body corporate, partnership firm or LLC. DSA can be any person other than body corporate, partnership firm or LLC supplier, but the recipient should be this 2%. Then only there will be a reverse charge, otherwise forward charge. I am saying that a partnership firm is providing DSA service to a banking company, forward charge, because that is excluded from the definition of supplier under reverse charge list. Now, business facilitator. Yes, this term I have already explained in the definition portion. You can go there and see the definition of this particular word. Now, when business facilitator is providing any services to banking company located in taxable territory, then there will be a reverse charge. See, I am saying business facilitator providing services to NBFC. Sir, but NBFC is not covered under this list, so it will be a forward charge. But when this business facilitator is providing services to a banking company, in that case, it will be a reverse. In that case, it will be a reverse. So here is the thing. Yes, here is the thing. Now, after that, see one thing. One second. Yes. Yes, one second. Let it be. Yes. After that, when agent of business correspondent, again this word I have explained in the definitions portion. Yes, you can go there and have this. So have the meaning of this word. So an agent of business correspondent, when provided any services to a business correspondent located in taxable territory, in that case it will be a reverse charge. Yes. Now, any services provided by member of overseeing committees to RBI, member of overseeing committees to RBI, it will be under reverse charge, and RBI is going to pay tax on such services. After that, lending of securities. After that, lending on securities. So up till now, what we have seen, up till now, yes, come on, we can revise it. Yes, up till now, what we have seen, first thing, we have seen, say, the very first thing, services of sponsorship. Second, legal services, arbitral tribunal. After that, government. Yes, after government, we have seen renting of immovable property by government. After that, renting of residential dwellings. Yes, renting of residential dwelling. Then director services to a company. Then insurance agent services to a insurance person doing insurance business. After that, services of recovery agent to say financial institutions, NBFC and banking company. After that, DSA, other than body corporate partnership firm LLP, to any person who is doing a business of banking company or NBFC. After that, business facilitator to a banking company. We have seen up till this. And after that, the next page, agent of business correspondent to agent of to a business correspondent, and members of overseeing committee to RBI. Now we are seeing lending of securities. Now we are seeing lending of securities. Now, lending of securities, it means you are lending your securities and having money for that. Having money for that. Somebody is borrowing your security. Yes. Somebody borrowing money to lending their securities. So their supplier will be a lender, and the person who is the recipient is the borrower. Who is the recipient is the borrower. So if this is the case, there will be a reverse charge. Very simple. If this is the case, there will be a reverse charge. Who is the lender and who is the borrower? It will be the recipient. This will be the supplier. Now coming further. Yes. Copyright. Both points talk about copyright. Both points talks about copyright. First one is the copyright for original dramatic musical artistic work, and second is the copyright for original literary works. It means here books, author, yes, and here say artist, music composer, etc., etc. So here the supplier is the music composer, photographer, artist, but in the second case will be the author. And who are the recipient? Recipient is the music company, producer, or like. And in case of author, the recipient is the publisher located in taxable territory. If such is the case, there will be a reverse charge. Now see, first of all, I will explain the thing. Say nowadays we are hearing many songs, many movies, they are having remakes. XYZ movie that is produced in South, Bollywood doing the remake of that movie. Yes. So how can that person do a remake? Because the original work is done by the director who is in South, and Bollywood director is doing the remake. So first of all, this Bollywood director has to take permission, because he will now receive the transfer or permission to use the enjoyment of a copyright. That is done by the South director. Now the South director is going to charge money for the same and give a permission to that Bollywood director to use the copyright. Either this is the case of any movie, any song, or any book. In that book case also, author permits the publisher to use the content of that author which is copyrighted. Yes. So for this they are going to receive money, the author and the say artist or music composer or any person. So that person is the supplier, because he is supplying the service of giving permission to enjoy the copyright or use the copyright. And the person who is paying for such enjoyment or use of that copyright will be the recipient. So under reverse charge, this person are going to pay the tax. Now, sir, there is an option given to the author. Though the services provided by author are under reverse charge, but author can exercise for the forward charge on his own account. There is an option given. For that, author have to give declaration that I myself is going to use this services, supply of services, and going to pay tax under forward charge, like this. A declaration will be there. Yes, a declaration will be there. And one more important condition, that there should be a registration taken by such author under GST. Yes, he should be registered under GST, and second, he should make a declaration. That I am opting to pay tax under the forward charge. So there should be a declaration. Now coming towards security services. Security services, only one thing: supply of security person, security guards. Yes, supply of security person, security guards, supply of security guards. So who is going to supply these services? Any person other than body corporate. Any person other than body corporate. And who is the person who is receiving the service? Any registered person located in taxable territory. Any registered person located in taxable territory is the recipient. Supplier is any person other than body corporate. What if I say body corporate is supplying the service? That will be forward charge. But other than body corporate, any person, say partnership firm. Partnership firm is providing the service. So in that case, reverse charge. In that case, reverse charge. And that too, you are going to provide service to a registered person. If you are providing service to unregistered person, in that case, it will be a forward charge. Yes. But somehow this provision, this entry does not apply to a person. See, this will apply to a person who is registered under the act, and now that registered person is going to pay tax. But somehow this entry does not apply to two types of registered person. Who are these two types of registered person? First one is the department, establishment of central government, state government, local authority or government agency. Government, this person who has taken registration. I told you two type of registered person are not under this entry. Are not under this entry. That is a department, establishment of central government, government agencies or local authorities which has taken registered under the act, which has taken registration under the act only for the purpose of deducting tax under section 51, that is TDS. Under section 51 they are registered only for the purpose of deduction of tax and not making any further taxable supply of goods or services. They are not making any supply of taxable supplies of goods or services. If this is the person, this entry will not be applicable. In this case, it will be a forward charge. It will be a forward charge. Yes. No reverse charge. Yes. And the second person is person registered under paying tax under section 10. That is composition scheme. So that composition scheme provider, yes, taxable person, composition dealer will not be applicable with this entry and he is not required to pay tax under reverse charge. There will be a forward charge in this case also. After that, there is a new amendment. Yes, new entry has been notified. New entry: services by way of renting of any immovable property other than residential dwelling. See, residential dwelling is already covered. Yes, other than residential dwelling, any immovable property, if you are doing services, supplying services by way of renting of any immovable property other than residential dwelling, make sure that the supplier is unregistered person and the recipient is registered person. Then only there will be a reverse charge. Otherwise, it will be a forward charge. If the person here is registered person, it will be a forward charge. If this is unregistered person and supplying services to a registered person, then only reverse charge. Then only it will be a reverse charge. Yes. Now coming further, for the last two services under reverse charge. Now coming further for the last two services under the reverse charge. Now see here. Yes. Yes. Coming further. Now see here. In case of transportation of goods by road, see who is providing this supply? Who is providing this supply? This supply of services provided by GTA. Who is the supplier? TA. And who is the recipient? Notified person. Very simple. In one word you learn it. Notified person. So who are the notified person? Any factory registered under the Factories Act, society registered under the Society Registration Act, cooperative society established under any law, person registered under the GST Act, any body corporate established or under any law, partnership firm, whether registered or not. See mention here. Highlight this thing. Whether registered or not. Sir, why you have highlighted this thing? Because in every point you are going to see that factory registered under the Factory Act, say for example society registered under the Society Regulation Act, even the body corporate also should be under any law. Yes, but partnership firm, there is no requirement of registered or not. Registered on only there, yes, else every point says about registration. Yes, and after that any CTP or NRT located in the taxable territory, CTP located in the taxable territory. Now these are the notified person, make sure it is very simple. Now see, GTA has two options. GTA has two options, either to pay tax at the rate 12% with ITC, or pay tax at the rate or to make tax paid by the recipient at the rate 5% without ITC. Two options. First option is 12% with ITC, he himself will pay the tax, or let it be paid by the recipient under reverse charge at the rate 5% but without ITC. Now here, if the GTA selects option of 12%, then in that case, recipient should be the notified person. If GTA providing services to a notified person, then under forward charge GTA will be liable to pay tax. If services are provided to person other than notified person, it will be exempt. Totally, it will be exempt. Same in the case of reverse charge. In reverse charge at the rate 5% without ITC, see that GTA is providing services to a recipient, notified person. If that recipient is notified person, then reverse charge, and that notified person will be liable to pay tax. But if such services are provided to any person other than notified person, in that case it will be exempt. Yes, but however, such entry is not applicable to a person, one registered person. See here they have told now, notified person is the person registered under the GST Act, but only one registered person is not applicable with this entry. Yes, and that person is the government department, government agencies, central government, local authorities, etc., who has taken registration under the act only for the purpose of deduction of tax at source under section 51 and not making any further taxables. That person is not required to pay tax under reverse charge, because this entry is not applicable to such person. Subject to condition, there should be a declaration. Yes, there should be a declaration. Okay, when GTA is opting to pay tax under forward charge, there should be a declaration. Yes. Now coming further to the last entry of reverse charge, that is renting of any motor vehicle designed to carry passengers where cost of fuel is included in the consideration. Say when you take any car for say any touring purposes, where the owner says that the for example, say the cost will be 12 rupees per kilometer, 10 rupees per kilometer, 20 rupees per kilometer, and they do not charge any extra fuel charges. Everything is included in that 12 rupees per kilometer or 20 rupees per kilometer as the case. In that case, this reverse charge entry will be applicable. See how it will be applicable. See, first of all, who is providing the service? Yes, any person other than body corporate, and to whom providing the service, any body corporate located in taxable territory. And very easily I have mentioned the things in this chart. See what happens. Person liable to pay tax. Yes, 1 second. Yes, person liable to pay tax under renting of motor vehicle service. There are two options, either reverse charge or forward charge. Yes, if the person selects the reverse charge at the rate 5%, supplier should be any person other than body corporate. Now the recipient should be body corporate. supplier is other than body corporate, but the recipient is the body corporate. In such case only there will be a reverse charge. In such case only there will be a reverse charge. Otherwise, sir, what if supplier is body corporate? Supplier is body corporate. Don't go further. Directly it will be a forward charge. Sir, what is supplier is other than body corporate, but recipient is also other than body corporate? In that case, also forward charge. Only reverse charge will be in the case when the supplier is other than body corporate and the recipient is body corporate. In such case, there will be a reverse charge. Else, in every case, there will be a forward charge. This was the thing. This was the thing in reverse charge, section number 9.3 and 5.3. Yes. Now, coming further towards 9.4. In 9.4, there are only 3 entries. Yes. When we are talking about 9.4, make sure the supplier will be unregistered person. 100% the supplier will be unregistered person and the recipient will be the registered person. Yes. Then only this entry will be applicable. Now, see, what are the entries? Entry number 1, cement received from unregistered person. So in that case, the registered person, the promoter will be going to pay tax on such supplies made by that unregistered person. In second case, GST on capital goods. GST on capital goods, yes, that the recipient is receiving from any unregistered person. In that case, the reverse charge will be applicable. And the third entry is somewhat typical. So we are going to make it easy to understand. Now, what the provision says? The provision says that when you are taking input and input services, when you are having inputs and input services from unregistered person to registered person, in that case, there is a limit that your 80% of your total input or input services, 80% of your total input or input services should be from registered person. Should be from registered person, and the rest 20% should be from unregistered person. They are allowing only 20% that can be an inward supply of input and input services from unregistered person. Only 20%. In case of unregistered person is your input or input service provider. But see the case. Now, what the act is allowing? The act is saying that 80% should be the supplies from registered person. Rest 20% you can have the supplies from unregistered person. But what actually you have done? You have actually purchased from registered person only 60%. And your 40% is from unregistered person. Now check this. Out of this 40%, how much is allowed? 20%. How much is disallowed? This 20%. So on this 20%, there will be a reverse charge. There will be a reverse charge. Not on this 20%. Not on the total 40%. Only on this 20% that was disallowed. On that, there will be a reverse charge. Yes. So this was the entry. Yes. Now coming towards 9.5. 9.5. E-commerce operator. See, what is the theme? Here the theme is a supplier supplying the services to e-commerce operator to the recipient. In such cases which are notified under section 9.5, in that cases, e-commerce operator is the person who is going to pay tax. E-commerce operator is the person who is going to pay tax. Yes, that is the only person who is going to pay tax. Now, coming further, what are the notified services? Sir, providing accommodation, best example Oyo. Yes, best example Oyo. Transportation of passenger, Ola, Uber. Yes, these are the person. Supplying of restaurant services, Zomato, Swiggy. These are the example. Say providing housekeeping services like plumbing, carpentering, etc., etc. Many applications are there. Yes, that provide this type of services. Yes, in that case, the e-commerce operator will pay the tax. Yes, and last one, the newly inserted entry, services by way of transportation of passenger by an omnibus, except where the person supplying such services to ECO is a company. is a company. If the supplier is a company, except that cases, everything in every cases e-commerce operator will be liable to pay tax. Yes, 9(5) will be applicable. If the supplier is company, in that case 9(5) will not be applicable. 9(5) will not be applicable, and that too only in the case of omnibus. Omnibus. So what do you mean by omnibus? Radio taxi, motor cab, maxi cab, everything here in front of you. You can have a look on this definitions and can read this definition. So here we have completed section number 9. We have completed section number 9, that is charge, reverse charge, forward charge, and charge through supplier supplying through eco. Yes, we have completed here these things. Now wait for say 3 minutes. I will be back. Yes, welcome back. So let's start with the section number 10. Now, what we have done up till now? Up till now, we have done section number 7, 8, 9, and section 5 of IGST Act. This was of CGST Act. Yes. Now heading towards composition scheme, section 10 of CGST Act. Now section number 10. See what it says. Composition scheme. Composition scheme. Now, what is composition scheme? The composition scheme is a scheme provided to the small taxpayers. Yes, small business person who will pay less tax as compared to the normal scheme. Yes, and whose compliance requirements are also less as compared to the normal scheme. Yes. So overall, they have a benefit. They have a benefit. Not going in so much details. Everybody know the meaning of this term composition scheme. Now, under this composition scheme, there are two sections. Section number 10.1 and section number 10.2a. Most important. This talks about the applicability of the scheme. Applicability of the scheme. Now, composition scheme for goods talks about section number 10.1. Section 10.2a talks about services. Composition scheme for services. Let's talk about the first one, section number 10.1. When it will be applicable if you want to apply for composition scheme for goods. It will be applicable, the first and the foremost condition, that aggregate turnover of that registered person in the preceding financial year, not in the current financial year, in the preceding financial year, it should not exceed 1.5 crore or 150 lakhs. But in case of some special category of states, the limit is 75 lakhs. The limit is 75 lakhs. These are the special category of states in front of you. Meghalaya, Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Uttarakhand, Mizoram, Manipur, Tripura, Sikkim. That is Manu went to Sikkim through MMT. So Manu went to Sikkim through MMT. This is the short form that can help you to learn this 8 special category of states. Now here the limit is 75 lakhs, but in other cases the limit is 1.5. The limit is 1.5 crore. Yes. So if your aggregate turnover in the preceding financial year is 1.5 crore, in that case, you can opt for composition scheme. Yes, you can opt for composition scheme. Now, in the case of services, section 10.2a, the limit is 50 lakhs. The limit is 50 lakhs. Yes, aggregate turnover in the preceding financial year is 50 lakhs. Now, so let us understand first the meaning of term aggregate turnover, what it includes or excludes. Now, this aggregate turnover should be a PAN based turnover, permanent account number based turnover. Now, in this aggregate turnover, it includes all the taxable supplies made by that supplier or on behalf by an agent. Exempt supplies, that includes nil rate, wholly exempt, non-taxable. Export supplies, interstate supplies. Yes, interstate supplies. And exclude inward supplies in RCM, because this is not the turnover of that particular person, because the person is RCM in RCM, paying tax in RCM is the recipient. So the turnover is of the supplier, not of that person. Yes. So inward supplies in RCM are not counted, and any taxes in GST is not counted. Any taxes in GST is not counted. Say where there is exclusive of GST, you have to take the total amount directly. But if there is inclusive of GST, you have to make sure that the GST portion should be excluded from that amount, and then that amount will be taken into consideration. And after that, these two things, sir. You have not told us these two things. Yes. Say, what are these two things? Say, for example, in GST, make sure to understand one thing. I will come again here. First, let us understand the theme. Say, for example, what happened? Say, preceding financial 2020-21 was your first year of the business. Yes. First year of the business. In that first year, you have done a turnover of 40 lakhs. You have done a turnover of 40 lakhs. Now tell me, can you have composition scheme here? If I am talking about 2021, can you have composition scheme in this year? Sir, first compare the preceding financial year. Here, the preceding financial year for 2021 will be 1920. In that, turnover was zero because I have started my business here. So obviously, in the last financial year, preceding financial year, the turnover was zero. For this financial year, can I opt for composition scheme? Yes. It is zero. It means it is less than the limits. Either it is say 1.5 crore or 75 lakhs or 50 lakhs. So considering 1.5 crore, this limit zero is less than that. So in the year 2020-21, you can opt for composition scheme, the first year of your business. Yes, sir. Here we can opt. Now, only in the first year of opting this composition scheme, you are given a proper relief. Yes, what is that? Say, in GST registration chapter, there is a threshold limit, say 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, or 40 lakhs, as the case may be. Up to this threshold limits, you are not required to take registration under the Act. But if you cross this threshold limit, you have to take registration under the Act as per section. Now, sir, this is my first year of business. I have done a turnover of 40 lakhs. So this benefit is given only for the first year of your business, that though you have done a turnover of 40 lakhs, no problem, up till 20 lakhs or 10 lakhs or 40 lakhs, I have taken here 20 lakhs. I have taken here 20 lakhs. So up to 20 lakhs, there is no requirement for making registration under the Act. So on this 20 lakhs, you are going to pay no tax, or this can be 10 lakhs, or this can be the total 40 lakhs, as the case may be. Here I have taken the case of 20 lakhs. So up till 20 lakhs, sir, we are not required to pay it. But beyond that, another 20 lakhs, we are going to pay tax under the composition scheme. Under the composition scheme, you have opted for composition. You are eligible to opt for composition. So you have opted for composition. Now aggregate turnover, though 40 lakhs, you are going to pay tax on this 20 lakhs only. Only this benefit is only given for the first year of your business. First year of your business. This thing is only given there. Yes, this thing is only given here. Value of supplied made by registered person from 1st April of the financial year up to the date when he becomes liable for registration. That thing you can count in aggregate turnover, but on that thing you are not going to make any of tax. That's why the same thing we have excluded in STO, state turnover, because under composition scheme you apply tax rates on STO, supplies made under the state turnover. So in composition scheme, you apply the composition tax rates on STO. So that's why we have excluded this thing under STO, because you are not required to pay tax on the value of threshold limit. You are not liable to pay tax or make registration. You are not liable to make registration up to a value. You are not liable to make registration under this Act. So that thing we are including in count of aggregate turnover, but while calculating your tax amount under composition, we are excluding the same thing from STO. So this is the theme of this thing. Now, coming towards next financial year 21-22. Let us, can you opt composition scheme in this year? Yes, sir. The aggregate turnover, fan base aggregate turnover was 40 lakhs in the preceding financial year. Yes. In the current year also you are under this. Yes. Now I have told this word, so let me explain this. Section number 10.3 is there, which tells that though you are eligible for the composition scheme comparing with the preceding financial year aggregate turnover, your aggregate turnover in the current financial year also should not exceed that turnover limit. That tells the section 10.3. So according to section 10.3, you have to see the current year also, but 10.2a and 1 you have to see the preceding financial. Now in this case of 21-22, see, in the preceding financial year turnover limit is there. Yes. In the current financial year you are in the turnover limit. Yes. So in this case you can pay tax under the composition on the whole amount of 70 lakhs. Sir, why not here up to 20 lakhs and another 50? No, I told you that benefit is only in the first year of your business when you opt composition. Yes, that benefit only first year. Now on the whole aggregate turnover or state turnover of 70 lakhs, you have to pay tax under the composition scheme. Now, sir, coming towards the next year, 22-23, can composition scheme be opted here? Compare preceding financial year turnover limit, yes. Current financial year turnover is in limit, yes. So you can opt for composition. Now, going towards 23-24. Now, in the 23-24, your turnover limit for the current financial year was 170, but your preceding financial year was 120. So, seeing the preceding financial year, you are eligible for composition. But up to what? Up to the level your 150 lakhs limit was not crossed in the current financial. Up to the level your 150 lakhs limit was not. You are eligible. You opted for composition in this year also. And this was the limit up to which you are paying tax under composition. After this limit, when you cross this limit, your aggregate turnover counted for the whole year 170 lakhs. 170 lakhs, it means up to 150 lakhs you were in limit. As per section 10(3), up to 150 lakhs you are in limit. For the current financial year, not exceeding the limit. So you paid tax under composition. As soon as you cross the limit for the another 20 lakhs, after 150 lakhs, you have to shift yourself from composition to regular. And now you have to pay tax on this 20 lakhs on regular. So this is the provision. You have to keep in mind preceding financial year aggregate turnover as well as current financial year aggregate turnover. Yes. So this was the case. Now coming towards 24-25. Now compare the preceding financial year. Already you have closed the limit. Already you have crossed the limit. More than 150 lakhs. Now in this you cannot opt for composition scheme and you have to pay tax under the regulars. After that 25-26. Now seeing this 25-26, the preceding financial year is under limit, yes. Current financial limit also you are under limit, yes. So you can opt for composition. Here you can opt for composition. Here you can opt for composition. It is not like thing that 1 year composition is not there, so you will not be eligible for the composition of the whole life. This is not the case. You can opt for composition when your conditions are being set. So this is the case. This is the case. Yes. This is the case. Now, I've told you about this thing. Now, we are going towards this thing. Why should you do this thing from the definition of composition? Now, see here one thing. What was happening when GST first time executed in India? Yes, implemented in India. In that case, there was a provision of composition scheme. First provision of composition. There was only section number 10. In 2017, when the GST came, there was only section number 10, which specifies that only in case of exclusive supply of goods, there will be composition. Composition scheme will be given to a person who is exclusively making supply of goods. So at that time, the businessman thought about this thing. See, now compare with this era of modern world. Can you say that there is exclusive supply of goods? There is no supply of service. There is no supply of service. Can you say that there is only supply of goods? Along with this, we are not supplying even 1% service. In the whole world, there is no supply of goods which is exclusively supplied. Today, in this modern world, you have to make some services available with supply. Either the portion of supply of service is 1% itself. There are 99% supply of goods in this world which comes with supply of service, though 1%. Though 1% of the total supply. But there is supply of goods plus supply of service. Though supply of service is 1% and supply of goods is 99%. But there will be supply of service, and you told that exclusively supply of goods. It means 100% supply of goods, composition will be there. now in this modern world, 99% are the cases where there is no 100% supply of goods. So how the person will opt for composition scheme? You told that composition scheme is the benefit given to the small taxpayers, small businessmen, and the small businessmen are not going to have the benefit of this scheme because of this clause. So they amended the section. And they came up with a marginal supply of service scheme, a scheme of marginal supply of service. Now they eradicated this term. They deleted this term. Now they told that in section 10.1 there will be a supply of goods. We are allowing supply of service also, but up to marginal. Up to some marginal supply of services. Up to some margin. And that margin is higher of 10% of state turnover or 5 lakhs. Higher of 10% of STO or 5 lakhs. Up to that amount only you can supply service along with supply of goods under section 10.1. Under section 10.1, and in that also the services of supplying loan, FD, where consideration is received in form of interest or discount, such type of services will be excluded. Yes, they told that when we are talking about section 10.1, SOG plus SOS can happen, but up to a marginal limit. And this marginal limit does not take into consideration this type of service of providing loan or advances, FD, on which consideration is received in form of interest or discount. So this type of service is excluded from the marginal supply of service. Yes, so while calculating the marginal supply limit, yes, we did not consider this interest amount, yes, supply service, and also we do not consider this thing in making decision of service excluded. It means service allowed. See here, I have written also marginal supply of service means higher of 10% of the state turnover or 5 lakhs. Say for example, in the preceding financial year, your state turnover was 120 lakhs. So in that case, that 10% it will be 12 lakhs. So what will be higher, 12 lakhs or 5 lakhs? 12 lakhs. So 12 lakhs will be your marginal supply of service. Along with supply of goods, you can make marginal supply of service of 12 lakhs only. And while calculating this thing, we are not taking consideration of this supply of service. We are excluding this supply service while calculating ATO, STO, marginal services, and also from the services allowed. That's why we have written here that while making calculation of aggregate turnover, state turnover, we are excluding this type of service from there also. And while calculating marginal supply of service, we are excluding this type of service from there also. And when making decisions of what type of service is allowed, we are making this type of service excluded from there. Say for example, I have allowed 12 lakh of supply service. So though this 12 lakh is allowed, now actually I made 10 lakh of other service and 3 lakhs of this service of interest or discount on loans and advances. So while making decision, only this 10 lakh will be counted. This 3 lakh will be excluded. Though this totals comes to 13 lakhs, which is more than 12 lakhs. But for decision making, you are going to consider only this 10 lakhs, and you are going to exclude this 3 lakhs from decision making. So seeing this term, only 10 lakh services has been made, which is within limit. So composition will be allowed. Yes, this is the thing. Yes, this is the thing. But when we are talking about section number 10 to A, in section number 10 to A, when you are supplying service plus you are supplying goods along with your service, there is no such limit for supply of goods. For supply of goods, there is no such limit. No such limit. It may happen that the supply of service is 10 lakh and supply of goods is 30 lakhs. No problem. No issue. No limit is there. On the whole amount, you are going to pay tax under section 10 to A. Yes, composition will be available. Now, there is only one more important condition that you have to take into consideration, that 10 to A will only be applicable when you are rejected by 10.1. When you are not eligible to opt composition scheme under section 10.1, then only come here. Otherwise, and the second condition of aggregate turnover in the preceding financial year. Yes. Sir, what will be the benefit? Compliance benefit will be there. Along with compliance benefit, there is a benefit in the rates. If you are a manufacturer, the rate will be 1%, that is 0.5% CGST and 0.5% SGST of the state turnover. Restaurant services, then 5%, that is 2.5% of CGST and 2.5% of SGST of the state turnover. And in case of others, it will be 1% of taxable turnover in a state. Taxable turnover in a state. Yes, taxable supplies made in a state. And for services, section 10 to A, it will be 6%, that is 3% 3% SGST of turnover in a state. Yes, turnover in a state. So this is all about the applicability of the composition. Now, coming further towards the remaining section, section 10.3, I already told you. Yes, along with the preceding financial year turnover limit, you have to take care of the current financial year turnover limit. Yes, in each case, other consideration. Yes, other conditions as per section 10.4. Composition dealer cannot collect tax on outward supply. Composition dealer cannot collect the tax on outward supplies. He cannot claim ITC. He will be not eligible for ITC, and he cannot issue tax invoice. He have to issue bill of supply. These are the three conditions. Yes, that have to be fulfilled. And if any say problem is there, fraud is there, etc., there will be penal provisions applicable. Section 73, 74 will be applicable. And for a composition scheme, you should keep in mind this person are not eligible. This person are not eligible. Who are this person? Making taxable, non-taxable supply. Any person making non-taxable supply, any person doing interstate outward supply, outward, not inward. Okay, if you are taking inward, no bar is there. You can opt for composition. If you are taking inward interstate supply, but you are making outward interstate supply, there will be a restriction. Yes, now you cannot opt for compositions. Now you cannot opt for compositions. Now coming further, non-taxable supply person cannot opt for composition scheme. Interstate outward supply cannot opt for composition scheme. Services supplied through ICAI and such ICAI who is registered under section 50 for the purpose of making collection of taxes. In that case, you cannot opt for composition scheme. After that, if you are a manufacturer of notified goods, what are notified goods? Ice cream, pan masala, tobacco, aerated water, flash, bricks, flash, aggregate, trash, blocks, bleaks of fossil meals, etc. etc. So these are the notified goods. In this case of notified goods, if you are the manufacturer in section 10.1, then you cannot opt for composition. But in section number 10.2a, if you are the manufacturer as well as supplier of this notified goods, if you are manufacturer as well as supplier, here only manufacturer, no supplier, but here manufacturer as well as supplier, in that case you cannot opt for composition scheme. If you are a CTP and RTP, you can opt for composition scheme. You cannot opt for composition scheme. So sir, what if in the preceding financial year I was making interstate outward supply, but now current financial year I am not making interstate outward supply? Can I opt for composition? Yes. The past is not considered. It is considered when you are applying for composition scheme. At that moment, you should not make any interstate outward supply. You should not be a supplier of non-taxable goods or services. You should not supply through ICAI. You should be not a manufacturer or supplier of this. At the moment when you are applying for composition, at that time. Before that, you are making any type of such supply, no issue. No issue. Yes. So after composition levy, after opting composition levy, what will be the provisions you have to take care of? Now, see, here is the case. Now, see, here is the case. Now, after composition levy, you have to take care that if you are having any inward supply under 9394 and you are liable to pay tax under reverse charge, so that 9394 should be paid tax under the normal rates, not composition rates. Okay, the outward supply you are making under section 10(1), you have to pay tax under composition rates, but 9394 services, if you are taking inward supply service, then you have to pay tax under RCM. So in that case, you will have to pay tax under the normal rates, okay, not the composition rates. After that, you cannot become a CTP NRTP if you once opt for composition scheme. After that, if you are a composition person, so you have to mention on your signboards and notice board and also on your bill of supply that you are a composition taxable person, that you are a composition taxable person. Yes, so this will be the restriction. Now the intimation of opting for composition scheme. Yes, when should we intimate? See, if you are an unregistered person and first time applying for the composition scheme, in that case, whenever you apply, your registration will be effected from the date from which registration is effective. Yes, from which. Say for example, today it is 26th April and I want to make registration. Say registration. Yes, I have to make registration. Now, composition scheme, you applied for the registration, you are now registered and you applied for registration. We are applied for registration. Now, the date you will be granted the registration will be the effective date for that composition scheme. But if you are already registered person and you wish to opt for composition scheme, you applied, your composition scheme will be effective from the beginning of the financial, year. It means now it is say 25-26. So whenever I apply for the composition scheme, the composition scheme will be effective from the beginning of the next financial year, that is 26. If you are a registered person, then yes. So in which cases your see validity period of a composition levy? Yes. See, you can withdraw for your scheme. You can withdraw from your scheme either your own account, yes, or either your own account or provision any say when you have wait a minute. Yes, on your own account, and when you have contravened any prescribed conditions of, if you have contravened, from which date your composition scheme will be withdrawn, effective date of withdrawal will be the date of intimation, when you are intimating to the department that I have contravened the provision. And when you are withdrawing from the scheme sumoto, voluntarily you are withdrawing from the scheme, in that case, when you apply for voluntary withdrawal, when you apply, the date of application will be your effective date of withdrawal from the composition scheme. And when the proper officer is throwing you out of the scheme, in that case, the date determined by that proper officer will be the date of withdrawal of that composition. Now this is all about the charge chapter. Yes, it's all about the charge chapter. We have completed right now the charge chapter with the composition, the reverse charge and all. Let's have a lunch break. Yes, okay, of 20 to 25 minutes, and after that we'll continue with the time of supply and other portion. हेलो गाइस, वेलकम बैक। शुरू करते हैं हम टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई। अब देखो, अब तक हमारे जो सेक्शंस हो गए कंप्लीट। अप टिल नाउ वी हैव कंप्लीटेड flow Hindi started, but I understood is English, that was front form. Now up till now we have completed section number 7 supply, 8 composite mix supply, 9 charge, section 10 composition scheme, 11 exemption we are going to take further. Now we are going towards 12 and 13, that is time of supply. 12 talks about type, sorry, 12 talks about time of supply of goods and 13 talks about time of supply of service. Yes, so here in front of you 12 years of goods, 13 years of services. Years of services. Now see here, in case of goods. Now when we are talking about 12.2 and 12.3, this is forward charge or reverse charge. 12.2 talks about forward charge and 12.3 talks about reverse charge. Now in case of forward charge, what will be your time of supply? In case of goods, your TS will be earliest of date of issue of invoice by the supplier, or last date of issue of invoice, or date on which the supplier receives the payment. But if you apply notification number 66 by 2017, then you have to make decision in these 2 points: date of issue of invoice or last date of issue of invoice. Earliest of the following will be your TS if you follow notification number 66 by 2017. But in any other cases, this will be your TS in case of supply. Now, sir, here date of issue of invoice by the supplier will be known because the supplier himself is going to mention the date when he issued the invoice. Date of payment will be known. But sir, what about this? Last date of issue of invoice. Last date of issue of invoice. How can we trace this date? How can we know this date? How? So this thing tells section 31. Section 31, the last date of issue invoice. Section 31 1 and section 31 2. Section 31 1 talks about supply of goods and 31 2 talks about supply of service. Section 31 tells us the last date when the invoice should have been. If not issued, the last date will be locked. So the first point, where there is moment of goods, what will be the last date of issue of invoice? The invoice should be issued before or at the time of removal of goods for supply. Before or at the time of removal of goods for supply. It should be issued before or at the time of removal of goods for supply. In any other cases, delivery of goods or making available will be the last date of issue of invoice. In case of continuous supply of goods, yes, example of milkman. I told this example early in the definition itself. Yes. So in case of continuous supply of goods, the last date of issue of invoice should be before or at the time of issuance of periodical statement or receipt of periodical payments. Before or at the time of issuance of periodical statement or periodical payments. Yes, as the case may be. Up till that will be your last date to issue invoice. In case of goods taken sent or taken on approval basis, sale on approval basis, yes, that you have took the goods. If you like that goods, you will return them. Otherwise, you will return them. So this is the case of sale on approval basis. Now, in the case of sale of approval basis, the last date of issue of invoice will be the date of invoice, and it should not be more than 6 months from the date of removal, whichever is early. Either you have issued invoice within this 6 months, or if you are going to issue invoice after this 6 months, then the day following the end of this 6 month will be your last date to issue invoice, and this 6 month will be counted from the date of removal of that. Yes. So according to section 31.1, this will be the last date of issue of invoice. Yes. After that, reverse charge. In case of reverse charge, section 12.3, the TUS in case of goods will be earliest of date of receipt of goods, date of payment, or 31st day from the date of issue of invoice by the supplier. 31st day from the date of issue of invoice by the supplier. Now, this will be the last day. Yes, this will be your TUS, earliest of this thing. Earliest of this thing is your TUS. Now, coming towards services. Now, TUS in case of services. Forward charge, reverse charge. Section 13.2. In this case, invoice issued within time period. Now, highlight this, within time period. Sir, when can we say that invoice is issued within time period? Now, again, come towards section 31. When can you say that invoice is issued within time period? See, in case of service, provision of service, it should be issued within 30 days. Within 30 days of date of supply of service. Say, I have supplied service today. So from today, in 30 days, if you issue the invoice, it will be termed as invoice issued within time. If you fail to issue invoice in this 30 days, it will be termed as invoice not issued within time. Yes, and this 30 days will become 45 days in case of insurance companies, banking, financial institutions in this case. And in case of continuous supply of service, yes, what will be the time period in which you can say that invoice issued within time? Yes, on or before the due date of payment. Yes, where the due date of payment is certain in the contract, that due date, yes, you have issued invoice before that due date. Or if there is no due date ascertained, then due date of payment is if the due date is not ascertained, then supplier of service receive the payment. Supplier of service receive the payment. It means the date of payment, and when both are not known, the date of payment is not known, the say due date is also not known. In that case, completion of that particular event. Completion of that particular event. Before these dates, you should issue invoice so that the invoice will be termed as invoice issued within time period. Yes. Sir, what if the invoice is issued within time period? If invoice is issued within time period, the TOS will be earliest of date of issue of invoice or date of payment. Date of issue of invoice or date of receipt of payment. And what if the invoice is not issued within time? Then TOS will be earliest of the date of provision of service or date of receipt of payment. Yes. So this will be the provision. Section 13.2, forward charge in case of TOS of services. Now, in case of reverse charge, TOS will be earliest of date of payment or 61st day from the date of issue of invoice by the supplier. In case of reverse charge of goods, there was 31st day, and in case of services reverse charge, it is 61st day from the date of issue of invoice. Now this is the thing. TOS of goods, TOS service, different section 12.2, 12.3, 13.2, 13.3. Now let's talk about the next sections. 12.4, 13.4. TOS in case of vouchers. Now talks about two things. Voucher is identifiable or not identifiable. Yes. If voucher is identifiable, it means, say for example, today I am giving you a voucher. A voucher and it is written on the voucher that you can go to Domino's and have a pizza. Yes. And have a pizza. Yes. The voucher is saying that. So it means it is identifiable. But if I gave you a voucher on which it is written that in Domino's you can go and have anything which is around 199 rupees, but not mentioned what you can have. Either it may be pizza, either it may be say chocolava, etc. Anything you can have up to 199. You can have anything. So there is no identifiable goods in that case of voucher. So what if the voucher is identifiable? The TOS will be the date of issue of the voucher when I gave you. Yes. If not identifiable, then TOS will be the date of redemption of the voucher when you go to the Domino's and execute your voucher there. So the date of redemption of the voucher will be your TOS in that case. Section 12.4, 13.4. Now 12.5, 13.5. It is a residuary one. You just read it and let it be. Now coming towards 12.6 and 13.6. Yes, addition in value. Addition in value. Say for example, you are having a contract for rupees 1 lakh. For rupees 1 lakh. that a particular person took your goods and he said that I will pay you 1 lakh rupees in coming 2 months. Now the 2 months are over and you asked him, sir, where is my payment? 2 months are over. So at that time, that person told you, sir, please, 1 more month, please. Now you will tell him that no problem, I will give you 1 more month, but interest will be applicable. You can tell this at as an interest, late fee, penalty, whatever the case may be. So this 10,000 will be applicable to you. Now you have to pay me 1 lakh plus this 10,000. So for this 1 lakh, TOS is already there. TOS is, you have calculated TS for this 1 lakh already. But what about this 10,000? This 10,000 executed right now. Yes, right now. So what will be the TOS in case of this 10,000? Addition in value by way of interest, late fee, penalty for delayed payment of consideration. In that case, TOS will be the date on which supplier receives such addition in value. It means when this 10,000 amount will be paid to the supplier, that date will be the TOS for this 10,000. Yes, it's all about the TOS chapter. Now coming towards the value of supply. Now coming towards value of supply. Yes, value of supply. Now see here, value of supply. Now value of supply. Sir, value of supply is that value on which you apply the rate of tax and calculate the tax amount under GST. And this value is determined under section 15. This value is determined under section. Now section 15 is going to let you know what will be the value of supply. Now when coming towards value of supply, you have 3 sections that tells you what will be the value of supply. Section 15.1 tells that 15.4, 15.5. Now it is a good news that 15.4, 15.5 are applicable at the final level, not this inter level. In this inter level, you are going to study only this. Now what it means, value of supply equals to section 15.1 transaction value. It includes section 15.2 inclusions in it, yes, and excludes section 15.3 exclusions from it. Now see here, what do you mean by transaction value? The value on which you have transacted the supply goods or service. Say for example, I sold you a laptop for rupees 50,000. Yes, that is transaction value. But I also charged rupees 2,000 for the laptop bag, 1,000 for the wireless keyboard and mouse, like this. So in total, you paid me 50. Out of that, 50,000 was the transaction value, the value on which you transacted the goods. And the other things of bag, keyboard, mouse, and that were the inclusions. That were in the inclusion section 52. But when we are talking about the transaction value, 50,000 was the transaction. The value on which you transacted the goods or service. Yes. Now, for transaction value to be considered under section 15.1, there is 2 conditions. Yes, there are 2 conditions. Now, what are the conditions? Supplier and recipient of the supply not related. Supplier and recipient of the supply both are not related. Plus, price is the sole consideration. Price is the sole consideration for the supply. First condition, supplier, recipient are not related, and price is the sole consideration, not in kind. You are making supply and receiving some consideration in kind, that will not work here. That will work under section 15.4, 15.5, that you are going to learn at final level. But here, to consider transaction value under section 15.1, these 2 conditions, price is sole consideration and supplier recipient are not related. Now coming further, now this is the transaction value, got the transaction value. Now in this transaction value, we are going to add these inclusions. We are going to add these inclusions. Sir, what are the inclusions? Now 15 to 15 to B, 15 to E, 15 to D, and 15 to E. These are the inclusions. Now coming towards the first one, 15 to A talks about any taxes, duties, cess, fees and charges levied under any law other than GST. We are not talking about the taxes under GST. We are not going to add that amount, but we are going to add the amount which are taxes, duties, cess, fees, etc., which are charged or levied in any law other than GST. Other than GST. If you have clearly read the introduction chapter, or you may go to the introduction chapter revision that I have told that some acts or some taxes has not subsumed in GST, not subsumed. So these things are that. The taxes which are not subsumed in GST should be added here. And after that, it will be any payment which has been incurred by the recipient for which supplier is liable. Now he is liable to pay supplier, and supplier tells the recipient, you pay such amount, I will reduce it from the bill. Yes, I will reduce it from the bill. Yes, in that case, it is a third party payment. Means supplier is liable to pay payment to that party, but he asks the recipient, please, on my behalf, you pay the payment, I will reduce from our considerations. Now, in that case, 15(2)(b) tells that that amount should be added in the transaction. Yes. So any payment on which supplier was liable to pay but incurred by the recipient should be added in the transaction value. After that, incidental expense. Now, for example, you went to a gift shop. For example, you are going to any party, you went to a gift shop. Now, that gift shop, you are asking that person to please give me a particular proper and a good gift in 500 budget. Now that person showed you many gifts and you selected one. Now that gift you have purchased 500 rupees. That is your transaction value for that supply goods. Now you thought that this gift of 500 rupees I have to carry in my hand like this in the cartoon box itself. It will be so cheap. It will look so cheap. So what you told that person, please gift wrap this goods. Gift wrap this goods. Yes, that person told that sir 500 for your gift, the MRP plus 20 rupees charges for packing this good. For packing this good, yes, these are called as incidental that are added in the transaction value as per section 15(2)(c). And now your value of supply will be 520. Now it will be 520 rupees. So any incidental charges that are charged by the supplier to the recipient for done anytime, anytime before supply or at the time of delivery or supply, yes, on the direction of that recipient, that will be added as an inclusions in the transaction. After that, interest, late fee, penalty on delayed payment for consideration. Yes, the example recently we had in section 12(6)(13)(6) of addition in value time of supply. In that case, 1 lakh rupees plus 10,000 interest, penalty, late fee, whatever the case may be. Now here that 10,000 also should be added to the transaction value while calculating value of supply. And after that, the last one, subsidies. Now subsidies which are directly linked with the price, excluding subsidies provided by government, directly linked with the price. Highlight this. I will tell you the meaning of this thing. Directly linked with the price. Now what it is? For example, you are a manufacturer of register. Yes, you manufacture the register at a cost of 30 rupees and you are selling it at 50 rupees. Now what you did in the market to do some charity, you started selling your register for a particular period of time, say for a month. You started selling your register at 30 rupees at cost. You are not charging 50. Before that you were charging 50 rupees, no MRP. But now you consider that 1 month we should do charity and you started selling that at cost, 30 rupees. Now seeing this, famous businessman comes to you and tells that, sir, you charge only 10 rupees. You charge only 10 rupees to the person whom you are selling this register, yes, for the sale. The rest 20 rupees I will give. So now that person is selling the register at 10 rupees and gaining 20 rupees from that famous business person, and in total he is having the 30 rupees, that is the cost. Now that 20 rupees is called as subsidies linked. So if you are getting any subsidy linked with price, and that too other than central government and state government, that should be added in your transaction. that should be added in your transaction. The things you are going to add in the transaction value, tax will be applicable. Everything, yes. So here take care, when you solve any question of value of supply in which subsidies is there, there is two things given in the question itself, that that the transaction value is given to you before affecting the, before giving the effect of subsidy, before giving the effect of subsidy. If it is like this, that they are saying you that the transaction value is before giving the effect of subsidy, it means they have not reduced the subsidy amount. So which subsidy amount is allowed to be reduced? Non-government or government? Government subsidies allowed. See, here given it is excluding subsidies provided by central government, state government. It means this government subsidies are allowed to be excluded, to be subtracted. But other than this government, any subsidy is there and you have subtracted that, that should be added. But in the question they are saying you that we are giving you the transaction value before giving any effect of subsidy. It means the subsidy is yet to be subtracted. So which type of subsidy is allowed to be subtracted from the value? Government subsidy, that you will reduce. Or in the question they will say that subsidy is given after the transaction value is given after giving effect of subsidy. Transaction value is given after giving effect of subsidy. It means, sir, they have reduced the subsidy, they have subtracted the subsidy. Now in such cases, what you will think? Now see, if they have already given the effect of subsidy, it means they have reduced both the subsidies, government and non-government. Means other subsidies, yes, other subsidies, government, non-government, yeah, government or other subsidies, yes. But which is allowed? Only government. Other subsidies allowed? No. Then add back that other subsidies that have been given effect in the transaction. And that is section number 15 to E. That says section number 15 to E what you have to add. Now this is all about the subsidy. Coming further, yes, after that section number 15.3 exclusions. The things you should exclude while calculating the values. Yes. What are the things? Exclusion. Exclusion are given under section 15.3A and B. 15.3A and B. Now 15.3A talks about before at time of supply, B talks about after supply, and both this subsections talk about one word, discount. This talks about discount. Now here, see, if discount is allowed before or at the time of supply, already given, and it is duly recorded in the invoice. In the invoice it is mentioned that discount this percentage and then value, so it will be allowed as an exclusion. You can subtract this value from the transaction. Yes, this will be allowed as exclusion. But what if you are giving subsidy after supply? All this case is when the discount is given at the time of or before. But what if discount is given after supply? If discount is given after supply, we will again allow you to make this discount amount as a exclusion from the transaction value only if these two conditions are satisfied. Only these two conditions if satisfied, we will allow you the discount that is given after supply as a subtraction from your transaction value. So what are the conditions? The discount should be agreed before. The discount should be agreed before and it should be linked to the invoice. And it should be linked to the invoice. Second thing, ITC must be reversed by the recipient. ITC must be reversed by the recipient of the supply. If these two conditions are satisfied, then only we can allow you to make the subtraction of the discount amount that is allowed after the supply. What if after the supply you are giving discount but these two conditions are not satisfied? Will disallow that. We are not going to allow you that discount amount. So this is the case. Now there are some clarification on the discount portion. Say buy more, save more. Store you went, buy the clothes, and there it is written buy one, you will get 20%. Buy two, you will get 40%. Buy three, you will get 60%. So what they are telling you, they are telling you that you are going to get discount, and that is before or at the time of supply. They are telling you this thing before at the time of supply. So this is a case of before and the time of supply. And also the invoice will going to show this discount. Yes, when you are going to receive the invoice, this discount will be shown in the invoice. So this discount will be allowed. What discount will be allowed? Talking about periodic or year-end discount, volume discount. So in this, the seller tells the recipient that buyer that if you buy 1000 kg, I will give you 2% discount. If you buy 500 kg, no discount. If you buy 2000 kg, I will give you 5%. So this is a volume discount. Or say if you made the payment in coming 2 months, we will give you 2% discount. So that is periodic discount. So that periodic discount, year-end discount, or volume discount is agreed before supply. And if the two conditions are satisfied, that is agreed before, and ITC by the recipient is reversed, you are going to have the benefit of reducing this discount value from the transaction. Now coming towards secondary discount. What are secondary discount? Secondary discount are a type of discount. Say for example, you are having an outstanding of 1,100 rupees towards a person. Now that person comes to you and pay you 1,000 rupees and tells that settle this amount. So what you are going to do? You have it is seen that you are going to give a discount of 100 rupees. Now that is secondary discount, which is not agreed before. Which is not agreed before, but while making payment, the particular recipient or the payer reduces that amount on his own amount, and you have to adjust it. So that is secondary discount. So secondary discount are not allowed as an exclusion from the transaction value. And same is the case for no claim bonus. What do you mean by no claim bonus? Say for example, you have paid a premium for the insurance this year, and this year you have not claimed any amount for that insurance. So again, when you pay premium for that to continue that insurance policy in the next year, there is a term called as no claim bonus. They give you a discount by the term no claim bonus. Say for example, and as an appreciation that in the last year you didn't claim any amount of that insurance, so that's why we are giving you discount for paying premium of this next year. So that no claim bonus is already agreed at the time of supply, before supply, and that is shown in the invoice. So it is an allowed discount that you can reduce from the transaction value. So this is how we completed section number 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 15, and section number 5 of IGC. So we have completed the portion value of, yes, value of. Wait for 2 minutes. We'll continue with this of Yes. So let us start with the topic list of. Now, when we are talking about list of supply, it is covered under the IST. It is covered under the IGST, not CGST. So when we are talking about list of supply, we are going to learn section 10 and 12 of the IGST Act, because section 11 and section 13 of the IGST Act related with place of supply covered under the finals. Yes, in your finals. So we are going to learn at inter level the section 10 and 12 of the IGST. Now coming towards section number 10, what it says: place of supply of goods other than import export. Place of supply of goods other than import export. Section number 10. It means other than import and export, you are supplying goods. So in that case, what will be your PS? Section number 10, 1A, B, C, CA, D, and E. These are the subsections. Now, with this together, what we are going to do, first of all, we'll cover these three. Section number 10, 1A, B, and C. Yes, quickly revise it. POS, place of supply, in case where there is moment of goods. In case where there is moment of goods, POS will be the location where the moment of goods terminate for delivery. It will be the location where the moment of goods terminate for delivery, the last destination. When talking about 10B, 10.1B, it is about bill to ship to. It means when the goods are delivered on the direction of a third person to somewhere, say A, B, C. Now, B is going to deliver the goods to the place C, but that too on the direction of A. It means the bill is going to be in the name of A, but delivery is going to be on the place of C. So in that case, bill to ship to. It means bill to other person, shipping to some other person. So in that case, PS will the principal place of business of such third person on whose direction you are supplying the goods to a third place. Yes, it means the person whom you are mentioning in the bill. Yes. After that, section 10.1c, no movement of goods. Sorry. In that case, no movement of goods. In that case, POS will be the location of the goods at the time of delivery. At the time of delivery. After that, 10.1 CA. 10.1 CA amendment. Goods purchased over the counter in one state and transported to another state by a buyer who is unregistered person. Now this is B2C. B2C. Other cases were B2B. But now this is B2C. In this case, unregistered person is going to purchase your product over the counter and he is going to terminate his delivery where you don't know. Where you don't know it. You cannot expect where that person is going to terminate the thing. Yes. So the buyer who is unregistered person will purchase over the counter and transport that goods from one state to another state. In that case, if his address, unregistered person address, is recorded in the invoice, then your POS will be the address of such person. If there is no address, then location of that supply. Location of that supply. This will be your POS. After that, 10.1D, where the goods are assembled or installed. In that case, the place where the goods are assembled or installed, that location will be your POS. And the last one, 10.1E, where the goods are supplied on board. On board, sir, what it means? What it means on board. Say, for example, you are traveling in a, say, railways or airways or say motor vehicle, vessel, etc. etc. Our example, we will consider train. You are traveling in a train. When you are going in a train, you find some person who are coming to you and shouting like, you will have to buy this for 10 rupees, like a person carrying the biscuits, or a person who is carrying, say, some tools like this, some goods like this. That person sells their products in the train. Say for example, sometimes the IRCTC person himself is going to come and shout tea, 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 coffee, 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 coffee. That person. They are supplying goods on board. On board. If this is the case, what should be the POS for such goods? Because over the route of that train, these goods can be supplied at any time, any location. So the train is beginning from Bangalore and the train is going to Delhi. Now in this between there are many states involved, and one person ordered say a particular food at Nagpur in this train itself, in the train itself, got it in Nagpur. Now sir, what should be the POS? So in that case, POS will be the place where such goods are taken on board of that train. The place from where the goods were taken on board, not the place where the goods were given to that person. The place from where the goods were taken on board or POS. That will be your POS. So this is all about goods. Section 10, 1A, C, E, and the last one. Now, coming towards supply of service. POS in case of supply of service. Now coming towards POS in case of supply of service. Now see in this case, section number 12. This is from section number 12 to section number 12, from 12 to 1214. There are many subsections in case of service. See the bifurcation, how we have done the bifurcation in this material. When we are talking about section number 12, 2, 12, 5, 12, 7, 12, 8, 12, 9, 12, 13, there are two types of POS. One POS when it is supplied to unregistered person. One POS when it is supplied to registered person. One POS when the supply is made to unregistered person. Another POS when the supply is made to registered person. When the supply is made to registered person. So these are the two ways only in this subsection, not else. Okay, not here. Only in these two subsections there are two ways to find the POS. So first of all, you are going to see about the unregistered person. Now in section 12.2, this is the general provision. I can say this a residuary section under POS, supply residuary section, in which if any provisions from 12.3 to 12.14 are not applicable, then 12.2 will be. Then 12.2 will apply. If any provision from 12.3 to 12.14 are not applicable, then 12.2 will be applicable. Yes, so 12.2 is generally basically a residuary section which tells that when supply is made to a registered person, if the address of that recipient is in record, then the POS will be your LOR. POS means place of supply, LOR means location of recipient. Otherwise, LOS. LOS means location of supply. So if the address is in record, then LOR, otherwise LOR. After that, service in relation to training performance appraisal means training performance of a particular thing. Yes, you are giving services of that. In that case, when supply is made to unregistered person, in that case, POS will be the location where the services are actually performed. After that, 12.7, organization of event. Take the word organization. I am not telling you admission to an event. Admission to an event is covered here, 12.6. But 12.7 talks about organization of event. Event may be a cultural event, artistic, sports, scientific, educational, entertainment, conference, fair, exhibition, celebration, or similar event or auxiliary activity. So any activities which is involved in the organization of an event, in that case, your POS will be the location of such event. Your place of supply will be the location of your event held. The location where your event is actually held. But that too when you are supplying this service to a unregistered person. Yes, if you are supplying these services to an unregistered person, your POS will be the place where event is actually held. But what if your event is held outside India? If your event is held outside India, in that case your POS will be LOR, location of the recipient. Coming towards toilet. Now toilet, transportation of goods including mail or courier. Yes, in that case of transportation of goods, if this service is being supplied to an unregistered person, in that case your POS will be the location at which goods are handed over, for transportation, at which goods are handed over for transportation. And after that, 12.9, transportation of passenger. In that case, if service are supplied to unregistered person, your POS will be the place from where passenger embarks for continuous journey, not break journey. Okay, only continuous journey. That the passenger started his journey from one source and is going to end up his journey on somewhere in the destination, not where he's having, say, he have to go from Bangalore to Delhi, so from one train from Bangalore to Nagpur, another from Nagpur to Delhi, not like this. Continue, the train should go from Bangalore to Delhi. In that case the POS will be the place from where the passenger embarks for continuous embarks. Yes. After that, 12.13, insurance services when supplied to unregistered person. In that case, if there is address in the records of the recipient, your POS will be the LOR. Your POS will be the LOR. Now what if this supply of services under section 12.2, 12.5, 12.7, 12.8, 12.9, 12.13 are supplied to a registered person? In that case, your POS will be the location of such registered person. Your POS will be the location of such registered person. Yes, will be the thing. This will be the thing. Now coming towards the remaining sections, 12.4. Yes, 12.4, restaurant and catering services, personal grooming, fitness, beauty treatment, health service, plastic surgery, cosmetic surgery. POS will be the location where these services are actually performed. Yes, these services are actually performed. And after that, 12.6, admission to an event. In 12.5 there was organization of an event. Sorry, 12.7. Now in 12.6 it is admission to an event. Admission to an event. Yes. Admission to a cultural, artistic, sporting, scientific, education, entertainment event, amusement park, etc. etc. So PS will be the place where event is actually held or the park is located. The park is located. After that, 12.10, service on board of a conveyance. Now, up till now, we have seen section number 10, 1E, goods on board of a conveyance. Section number 12, 9, passenger transporting from a conveyance. Now we are seeing section number 10, 12, subsection 10. That is services on board of a conveyance. Services on board, not goods on board, not passenger on board, services on board. We are seeing services on board. So what are the services on board? Many services are there. For example, in a train when you are traveling, the cleaning services, the bedroll services, etc. etc. So POS will be the location of first scheduled point of departure of that conveyance for the journey. First scheduled point of departure of that conveyance for the journey will be your POS. After that, banking. So again, banking, if the record is there in the address is there in the records, and LOR, otherwise LOS. And after that, section 12, services in relation to. Now see here. Now services in relation to a, yes, services in relation to a immovable property. Yes. One second. So in this case, say many services are there. For example, interior designer, architect, or say you have giving your immovable property on rent. Many services are there. Yes, these are the services in front of you. You can have a look on this. If any services you are doing in relation to immovable property, your POS will be the location where such immovable property is located. Place where such immovable property is located. And if your immovable property is located outside India, in that case your POS will be the location of this. This is the POS. In such cases, after that 12, 11, 12, 14. About 12, 14, there is a live service of advertisement from a particular person to agency, from a person to a government. And many types of advertisement are there that government does on railways, and say pamphlets, calendars, hoardings, etc., etc. So these are the examples in front of you. In which case, what should be the POS? Yes. So you can have a look on this. You can read these examples and make your understanding. As it is a marathon, we are not going to deal with each and every examples. Here it is now. So overall, the important portion of POS are being completed. Yes. Only one explanation is there. Say for example, when we are talking about say event under section 12.7, when we are talking about immovable property 12.3, when we are talking about communication telecommunication lines 12.11, in these cases there are many states involved. Say for example, immovable property. For immovable property, what you have done, you have made an agreement with the ITC group of hotels that wherever your hotel will be all over India, I will stay there. When I am going for a purpose of business, I will stay in your hotel itself. The lump sum amount of the whole year I am going to pay in Mumbai head office, for example, in Mumbai head office. Now, what you made a whole year, you stayed in the hotels at different location, Ahmedabad, Delhi, Chennai, Bangalore, Mumbai, and you made payment of whole stays at head office Mumbai with GST. Now the entire GST is with the Maharashtra government. But as per the provisions of section 12.3 of PS, the POS in case of immovable property should be the location where the property is located. It means there are many POS. When we staying in Ahmedabad, there is Gujarat the POS. When we staying in Delhi, Delhi is the POS. When we staying in Mumbai, Maharashtra is the POS. When we staying in Chennai, Tamil Nadu is the POS. When we staying in Bangalore, Karnataka is the POS. So all states should get their amount. All states should get their amount. So that's why this provision is there. If such cases are there where multiple states are involved, so first of all, see any agreement is there between there, any proportion is decided, and if not decided, you have to follow the prescribed means, and that prescribed means are given here. Are given here. It is. For example, if in this ITC hotel case, you should calculate the number of nights that person stayed in each and every location, and according to that you are going to bifurcate the GST amount. So this is the thing. Yes. So this is all about yes. This is all about yes. Let's take a 2-minute break, and after that we'll start taking some. Yes, let's start with the topic exemption. Section number 11 of CGST Act. Section number 11 of CGST Act. Now, what it tells about section number 11 again has three subsection 11.1, 11.2, 11.3. 11.1 talks about general exemption, or we can say that exemption by notification. This exemption will be applicable to each and every person. When government wants to notify anything, it means wants to say bring a new exemption entry or wants to delete any exemption entry, they can do this by notification, which is called a general exemption, applicable to all. But some exemption are by special order. It means they are applicable not to each and everyone. They are applicable to a particular group of people or a particular person to whom the government wants special order. And 11.3 talks about clarification. If there is any exemption entry that the government introduced and there is clarity needed on that exemption, so what the government will have to do within 1 year, government have to make clarification on such entry. Yes, within 1 year from the date of notification. Now see the goods exempt from tax. There is a very small list for the goods exempt from tax. That is in front of you. That is in front of you. We are not going to make any discussion on that. We are going to discuss the services exempt from tax. We are going to discuss the services which are exempt from. Yes. So what are the services exempt from tax? There is a huge list of this. Many services are there which are exempt, and here many say amendments are also there which are going to be covered with the marathon itself. Now, first one, what I have did, three exemption I have covered by making a particular sector. By making a particular sector. Yes. For example, the first one, every services which is related to charitable religious activity. Now in your model, you are going to find that each and every services which is mentioned here have their separate entries. What I did, I've clubbed all the entries at one place and gave a particular sector name to that entry. Now all the entries which are related with this thing are present in front of here at one, which are exempt. So let's start with the thing services exempt. First one, services by an entity registered under 12AA AV of the Income Tax Act. Any entity which is registered under the Income Tax Act, okay, under 12 AA and AV of the Income Tax Act, and which are supplying services by way of charitable activities. First of all, that entity should be registered under the Income Tax Act 12 AA and AV, and they are supplying charitable activities. So, what do you mean by charitable activities? These are in front of you. Yes, these all are charitable activities. Now, first one, advancement of education program skills development relating to abandoned, orphaned, or homeless children, physically, mentally abused, traumatized person, prisoners, or person over the age of 65 years residing in a rural area. Now, people, these people are being provided any type of advancement of educational programs or skill development programs. Then these services will be charitable activities. Public health by way of care counseling of terminally ill person or severe physical mental disability, HIV/AIDS, addicted dependence forming substance such as narcotic drugs or alcohols. Public awareness of preventive health, family planning or prevention from HIV infection. Now, these all services will be come under the charitable activities. Any service by way of arranging yoga, meditation camps, or management of educational institution by charitable institutes, trust, hostel accommodation provided by trust, advancement of religion, spirituality or yoga, preservation of environment, hospital managed by charitable trust. All these are charitable activities. And if these charitable activities done by any entity registered under section 12 AA and AV of the Income Tax Act, then this will be now this is the thing, this will be exempt. Now coming further towards religious activities. Now in case of religious activities, The conduct of any religious ceremony by any pandit. Yes, any religious ceremony, say marriage, kalyanams, or say, for example, housewarming party or puja, havans, etc. So in that case, services will be exempt. Renting of the premises of a religious place. Now, what can be given on rent? First of all, the rooms, shops, and any premises or community halls. If you are giving any rooms on rent, so per person per day, the room rent should be less than 1,000 to be exact. And if you are renting shops, so per month per person, the shop rent should be less than 10,000. If you are renting any community hall, so per month, sorry, per day per person, that amount should be less than 10,000. If this is the case, exemption will be given. If this amount exceeded or 1,000 or more, 10,000 or more, 10,000 or more, then it will be exempt. No exemption will be given. No exemption will be given. Now, after that, any service supplied, which is supplied by, say, any pilgrimage service like Mansarovar Yatra, Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, Hajj pilgrimage. So, any services provided to complete this pilgrimage will be exempt. Like this thing. Next, agriculture related services. Now, when we are learning about agriculture related services, most important term is the agricultural produce. Now, here see, yes. Now, see here, sir, what do you mean by agricultural produce? Now, agriculture produce means any produce out of cultivation of plants, rearing all life forms of animals except rearing of horses. Yes, any produce either out of the cultivation of plants or rearing life forms of animals except horses. Why are doing this thing? For food, fiber, fuel, raw material, or other similar products on which either no further processing is done or such processing is done as is usually done by cultivator or producer, which does not alter its essential characteristics but makes it marketable for primary market, not the retail market. It means any cultivation out of plants, rearing all life form of animals, we are doing for food, fiber, say raw material, etc., on which no further processing is done, as it is natural product. Or if any further processing is done, that too is done by the cultivator or the producer, not the manufacturer. Okay, cultivator, producer, and they do not alter the essential characteristic of that particular product because they are making them marketable in the primary market, not the retail market, only primary. So that product will be termed as agricultural produce. Examples are in front of you. The tea leaves are agricultural produce, but when they are further produced, they lose their essential characteristics. Though it is a green tea packet, but that is non-agricultural produce. Same with paddy and rice. Paddy is agricultural produce, rice is not an agricultural produce. Grams, pulses, etc., in front of you. Yes, these are the examples. So, which are the services under agriculture sector that are exempt? Are in front of you. Say, for example, first one, agricultural operations like cultivation, harvesting, threshing, plant protection, etc. This will be exempt. Supply of farm labor, the farmers, laborers working on the farm will be exempt. Process carried out at an agriculture farm like tending, pruning, cutting, dehusking, harvesting, cutting, drying, pruning, etc., cleaning, trimming, sun drying. When these things are done on agricultural produce and that too do not alter the essential characteristics of that product and making them marketable in the primary market, in that case it will be exempt. Renting of any agro machineries or vacant land, exempt. Loading, unloading, package, storage, warehousing of agricultural produce, yes. Loading, unloading, package, storage, warehouse of agricultural produce, agriculture extension services, and any services by the APMC, Agricultural Produce Market Committee or Board, or service provided by a commission agent for such agricultural produce. Sale purchase of such agricultural produce will be exempt. Yes, after that, say carrying out any intermediate production process, say for example cultivation of plant, etc., and any intermediate process if you have outsourced this intermediate process to anybody else. Services by way of artificial insemination of livestock, warehousing of minor forest produce, for example, Pushpa Lal Chandan, by way of loading, unloading, packing, storage, warehousing of rice. Yes, because rice is not an agriculture product. That's why specifically they exempt these services related with the rice. Yes. So this is all about agricultural produce. After that, passenger transport. Now, how the passenger is going to transport by road, by rail, by water, by air? Now, what if it travels by road? When it travels by road, though, there are two options: either stage carriage, either bus or other. Bus, two options: stage carriage, contract carriage. Stage carriage means government buses, contract carriage means private buses. Now, stage carriage AC taxable, contract carriage AC taxable. It means AC under both the carriages are taxable. What about non-AC? In case of stage carriage, exempt. But in case of non-AC contract carriage, determine for which purpose you are using it. Tourism, charter or hire, it will be taxable. When it is only used for a point-to-point transport, it will be exempt. Yes, point-to-point transport, it will be exempt, non-AC. Now, when talking about meter cabs, auto rickshaw, it will be exempt. When talking about other cabs, taxis, taxable. Yes, taxable. Now, there is a notification for the above exemption that in case of non-air condition contract carriage, when it is for the purpose of hire, it is taxable. But we will exempt that also if you have hired a non-AC contract carriage for the transportation of your employees to and from the work. To and from the work, where the bus is running on a predetermined route in a predetermined schedule. In that case, if you have taken any contract carriage on hire, we will exempt that. We'll exempt that. Though it is taxable, we'll exempt if this is the case. And in case of exemption by road, say for example, best example, meter cab auto rickshaw. Now, auto rickshaw is exempt. Transportation of passenger through auto rickshaw is exempt. But that will become taxable if that auto rickshaw person is supplying services through e-commerce operator. Through e-commerce operator. And that e-commerce operator under section 9(5) is liable to pay tax on such service. So this is the case. This is the case. Now railways. In case of railways, if you travel through first AC coaches, then taxable. Otherwise, it is exempt. If by rail you are traveling through metro, monorail, tramway, then they are also to exempt. When talking about waterways, in that waterways, vessel, if in vessel for tourism purpose, then it is taxable. But other purpose like government ferry means government ships, vessels which are used for public transportation, in that case that will be exempt. Inland waterways, any transportation will be exempt. Yes. After that, airways, in case of airways, mostly are taxable, but exemption is given to the economy class fare of such aircrafts which embarks from or terminate in an airport located in this location. Meghalaya, Assam, Mizoram, Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Manipur, Sikkim, Tripura, and Bagdogra. If your aircraft is departing or landing in these locations, then it will be exempt. Economy class fare will be exempt. Say for example, your aircraft is departing from Ahmedabad and is landing in Assam. Departing from Ahmedabad and landing in Assam, then economy class fare exempt? Yes. What if you are departing from Meghalaya and you are landing to Kolkata? In that case, also exempt. Either departure or arrival should be among these states. And very easy to learn these states. See the initials: MAMA, Mama, Nagmani, Mama Nagmani, SIT, sit at Bagdogra. Mama Nagmani, sit at Bagdogra. So this will be the learning shortcut for you to learn the states. Now this was all about passenger transport. Coming towards entertainment. Now See, in case of entertainment, very easy. You all know these things. When any services by an artist by way of performance in any folk or classical art form, music, dance, theatre, where consider is charged more less than equal to 1,50,000 will be exempt. But this exemption will not be given to any artist who is providing services as a brand ambassador. Yes. And another thing, services by way of right to admission to. Okay, right to admission to any circus, dance, theatrical performance, drama, award function, etc., etc. These are given when the consideration charge per person is less than equal to 500 rupees. Only then it will be exempt. Otherwise, it will be taxable. Otherwise, it will be taxable. And this limit of 500 rupees is only applicable in this case. 4 cases only. Yes. After that, protected monuments, in that case, there is no limit for ticket price. Everything will be exempt. And any ticket price of museum, national park, wildlife sanctuary, tiger reserve, zoo, exempt. Totally exempt. Coming towards legal services. Now, see the legal services. In this case, legal services. Sir, hearing this term, we are remembering the reverse charge. Yes. So, reverse charge was there when it was provided to business entity located in taxable territory. In that case, there was reverse charge. Now we are talking about the exemption. What are the exemption under legal services? When a firm of advocates or individual advocates or senior advocates or any arbitral tribunal providing services to government entity or government exempt. Any other person other than business entity exempt. When it is provided to business entity, now here there will be RCM. But before making it taxable, check that business entity is liable for registration or not under section 22 or 24 of the act. It means if this business entity has not crossed the threshold limit which makes it liable for registration under the act, there will be exemption. But what if this business entity has crossed the threshold limit which makes him liable for registration under the act? Then it will be taxable. Otherwise, in all cases, it is exempt. In all cases, it is exempt. So this is the clarification regarding the legal service. Now, goods transportation. When goods are transported by road, either it will be transported by courier or GTA. Both are taxable. But this GTA service will be exempt in case of GTA service provided to person other than notified person. That we have learned in the RCM itself. Yes, RCM itself. Now, other exempt. Yes. Now, inland waterways exempt transportation of goods. When transportation of goods done by railways, vessel, airways, all will be taxable. All will be taxable. But they have given exemption to Dr. Mona when it is transported through rail vessel GTA. When Dr. Mona is transported through rail, vessel or GTA, exemption is given. Sir, who is Dr. Mona? Dr. Mona, Dr. Mona. So when these goods are transported by rail, vessel or GTA, there will be exemption. Yes. So this is all about the goods transport and the passenger transport. Yes. And after that, talking about services by way of giving on hire. Up till now, we are deciding what will be the exemption provided if transportation is done of passenger or goods. Transportation is done. Now, what you are doing, you are giving services by way of giving your vehicle on hire. So, in that case, when the vehicle is given on hire to a state transport undertaking and a vehicle in which it, it is meant to carry more than 12 passengers, in that case it will be exempt. This service will be exempt. If you are giving your vehicle on hire and that vehicle is EOV, electronically operated vehicle, and that we are given on hire to a local authority which is meant to carry more than 12 passengers, so in that case it will be exempt. When you have given your vehicle on hire to another GTA for goods transportation, it will be exempt. When you are giving your vehicle on hire to an educational institution which is providing preschool or higher school, secondary school education for transportation of student, faculty or staff, in that case it will be, yes. This is all about the transportation part of exemption. Healthcare service. First of all, we'll have the meaning of what do you mean by healthcare. Sir, what do you mean by healthcare service? Healthcare service means DTC double iPad. Means services by way of diagnosis, treatment, care. DTC. For what? For what you are doing diagnosis, for what you are doing the treatment, for what you are giving the care, for double iPad. It means illness, injury, pregnancy, abnormality, deformity in a recognized system of medicine in India. And what are the recognized system of medicine in India? These are the recognized system of medicine in India: allopathy, yoga, naturopathy, Ayurveda, homeopathy, Siddha, Unani, etc. Yes, it includes services by way of transportation of patient to and from a clinical establishment, but exclude hair transplant, cosmetic, or plastic surgery. This is the definition of healthcare. But in case of hair transplant, cosmetic, plastic surgery, it will not be excluded if that thing is done to restore or reconstruct anatomy or functions of a body affected due to congenital defects. Yes, if that thing is done to repair any part of the body, for that purpose, it will not be excluded. Otherwise, it will be excluded. Yes. And also about IVF treatment, this is also not excluded, included in the healthcare definition itself. Now, healthcare service, who is providing the service? Healthcare service provided by clinical establishment, authorized medical practitioner, paramedics. Now, who is clinical establishment? Hospital, nursing home, clinic, sanatorium, pathological labs, or other institution established as an independent entity or part of establishment to carry out diagnosis, investigate, service, or disease. So these are the clinical establishment. Who is authorized medical practitioner? Any medical practitioner registered with any of the councils of recognized system of medicine, established, recognized by law in India, includes medical professional having requisite qualification to practice in any recognized system of medicine. So that will be an authorized medical practitioner, means the doctors. And paramedics, the trained healthcare professions, example nurses, physiotherapists, technicians, lab assistants, etc. These are called as paramedics. So if any healthcare service is provided by these three, that will be exempt. That will be exempt. Also, transportation of passenger in an ambulance will be exempt, and services of veterinary doctor, yes, in case of healthcare of animals or birds will be exempt. Yes, it will be exempt. Now coming further, some clarification. Say here is a clarification, more clarification on the thing. Say for example, yes. So the clarification is, say for example, there are many types of ICU, okay, NICU, ICCU, NCCU. Okay, so there are many types of ICU. So if the room rent charges per day per patient of that ICU is up to 5,000 rupees per day, okay, per day, then no problem, it will be exempt. But if goes above 5,000, it will be taxable. And any services provided by senior doctor, consultant to a particular paramedics or clinical establishment or authorized medical practitioner, okay, will be exempt. And after that, say any type of food supplied to a patient. Yes, food supplied to a patient, food supplied to a patient where the canteen is not outsourced. It means the hospital is having his own canteen. The hospital is having their own canteen. The food supplied is or supplied to a patient on the direction of the doctor. Yes, nutrition is for the doctor, the part of treatment. In that case, it will be exempt. Otherwise, all cases will be taxable. Yes, it's all about. Going further, I am taking the main exemption only. They are necessary for the examination. Yes, education. The educational services supplied by educational institution to education. But what do you mean by educational institution? This is the definition of educational institution. It means an institution providing services by way of preschool education, education up to higher secondary or equivalent, education at as a part of curriculum for obtaining qualification recognized by law for dining in force, education as a part of approved vocational course. So these three will be the education. So here let us see the education services exemption. Supplied by, supplied to. Here educational institution is supplying the services, and here some other person is supplying services to education. To education. Now see here, any type of services supplied by educational institution to its student, faculty, and staff will be exempt. Will be exempt. To a student, faculty, or staff will be exempt. Or any services supplied by education institution by way of conduct of entrance examination against in the form of consideration in the form of entrance fee. So that will be also exempt. These two services provided by education institution. Now, services provided to education institution. Transportation of student, faculty, and staff, catering, including any midday meal scheme, etc., etc. Any third parties providing such services to education institution, yes, so that will be exempt. Supply this will be exempt only in case of this first number of education, preschool, higher secondary school. In that case, supply of online education journal periodicals, this will be exempt only if provided to second number of education institution providing any recognized qualification recognized under any law. And the last one, services relating to conduct or admission to or conduct of examination by such institution when it is provided to any educational institution, it will take. Only this much is the exemption given in case of education services. What is the broad content in it? The broad content in it to prove that which institution or which course is covered under the educational institution definition. So this is the thing, some example in front of you, clarification of you that you can read it, yes, thoroughly. Now this is the thing, and one more services has been added as an amendment. Entry number 60. Now what do you mean by application service? Application service are the services which permit the schools to run the courses of central board or the state board in their schools. For that permission, the schools have to pay amount to such central or state educational board. Okay, they have to pay the amount. Now, when they are giving affiliation services to schools, and the school which is receiving these services is a government school, then these services are exempt. But if affiliation services provided to private schools, it will be taxable. It will be taxable. And when this affiliation services is provided by universities to the college, it will be taxable. So this is the amendment. Yes, this is the amendment. And this is the amendment in front of you. Yes, this is the amendment in front, which I am expecting any question the coming at this part. On this part. Accommodation or renting of human property. There are two entries. Entry number 12 and entry number 12P. Entry number 12 and entry number 12P. Now, entry number 12 deals with renting of residential dwellings. Entry number 12 deals with accommodation service. With accommodation services. Now see entry number 12 first. Now in entry number 12, see what are the services? Renting of residential dwelling. Who is providing the service? Any person registered or unregistered. Any person registered or unregistered. To whom you are providing the service? If the service are provided to unregistered person, if service are provided to unregistered person, in that case, see for which purpose that unregistered person is using that particular residential dwelling. If for the purpose of residence, exempt. But if that unregistered person is using commercially, then it will be taxed. Then it will be taxed. Yes, this is in the case any person providing services to URP. When any person providing the services to RP, registered person, in that case, you have to check whether a registered person as a proprietor of any property proprietary concern. Yes, proprietorship concern has taken on rent such residential dwelling, and that too for the residence of his own personal purpose, and the payment of the same is going through his own account, not on from the account of his proprietary concern. Yes, if this is the condition, then it will be exempt, otherwise taxable under RC. Taxable under RC. After that, renting of immovable property other than residential dwelling. Here we are talking about residential dwelling exemption. Now we are going to talk about any immovable property other than residential dwelling. In that case, if it is provided to an unregistered person, yes, wait for 2 minutes and come. Yes. So this is the case in case of renting of any mobile property other than residential dwelling, if provided to unregistered person, by unregistered person to registered person taxable under RCM, but it is provided by registered person to any person, it will be taxable under forward charge. Now coming towards the newly inserted entry number 12. Entry number 12, newly inserted. Yes. Now see here, nothing contained in entry number 12. Yes, right now what we have seen shall be applicable to accommodation services for student and accommodation services provided by hostel, camps, paying guest, accommodation and the like. It means there is a one word accommodation service. Highlight that. That is excluded from entry number 12 exemption and covered altogether in a new entry number 12A accommodation service. Now what it tells, if accommodation service are provided by any person registered or unregistered, any person, to any person registered or unregistered, it will be exempt only if two conditions are satisfied. What were the two conditions? Where the value of supply is less than equal to 20,000 rupees per person per month. Where value of supply is less than equal to 20,000 rupees per person per month, and accommodation service is supplied for minimum continuous period of 90 days. For a minimum continuous period of 90 days. Yes. Minimum continuous period. Yes. And VOF is less than equal to 20,000 rupees per person per month. In that case, it will be exempt, otherwise taxable. Yes. So it is the case. Now there are service supplied by government. Short, I will summarize this thing. First term, specified service. If you remember, while reading the reverse charge mechanism, I told you there are many services. I think any services supplied by government except two are under reverse charge. That two were renting of immobile property, that was also covered under the next entry below that itself. And the second one was specified service. This was the specified service. You can read it. Service supplied by Department of Post, Ministry of Railways. Service in relation to aircraft vessel inside and outside the port of presence of an airport. Transportation of goods or passengers. These were the services specified. In this, consider one more thing. Provided to business entry and learn this thing. Services supplied by government. In that case, first of all, this one. Not everything I am going to read it. Only important. Services by government, excluding specified service, are exempt. Because all are under reverse charge. No, that's fine. Services provided by government to business entity. Now, business entity provided goes under RCM. But under RCM also it will be taxable only when the business entity has crossed the threshold limit that makes them liable for registration under the Act. If the business entity has not crossed the aggregate turnover threshold limit, which makes it liable for registration under the Act, then that thing will also get exempt. Yes. So this is that thing itself. Yes. After that, any services provided by government to government. Yes, by government to government, except this A, B, C, D, E. Yes, sorry, A, B, C, D. This will be exempt. Yes. After that, old age home services. Yes, old age home services by government or entity registered under 12 AA or AB of the Income Tax Act, that will be exempt if consideration per person is less than equal to 25,000 rupees per month per person. So any services supplied by government to PSUs also exempt. Yes. Service supplied by government by way of issuance of passport, visa, driving license, birth certificate, death certificate, exempt. Yes. This will be exempt. Department of Post services like postcard, inland letter, book post, ordinary post where envelope is weighing less than 10 grams. It will be exempt. Yes, it will be exempt. So these are the exemptions from the government, and there are amendment also in this entry. New entries are inserted. Entry number 9E, 9F, 9G, 44A and 25A. These are new entry inserted in the amendment. Now we are going to learn this entry. Entry number 9E means any services provided by Indian Railways by way of sale of platform tickets, facilitating retiring room, waiting room, clock room service, battery operated car service. This will be exempt. Other will be taxable. Yes, other will be taxable. Only these services, if provided by Indian Railways to general public, it will be exempt. After that, entry number 9 of any services by one zone of Ministry of Railways to another zone, means southern zone providing services to eastern zone, northern zone, western zone, it will be exempt. After that, SPV. Now see here, what do you mean by SPV? SPV is a special purpose vehicle that pools fund from others and invest only on a particular sector, on a particular thing. So here, when SPV is investing all his money towards Indian Railways, so the services by way of use of infrastructure built owned by SPV charged to Indian Railway will be exempt, and any amount charged by Indian Railway to such SPV for maintenance services supplied by Indian Railways of that particular infrastructure which has been built by SPV will be exempt. So any services supplied by SPV to Indian Railways or Indian Railways to SPV will be exempt. Now after that, any say research and development services for which consideration is received in form of grants supplied by government entity or say section 35 1 triple I of the Income Tax Act notified institutions will be exempt. And after that, say services by electricity department, yes, electricity department, who is providing electricity transmission distribution utilities to their customers, say meter charges or meter duplicate bill charges, or say meter shifting of meter or service lines, etc, etc, all will be exempt. So this is all about the new exemptions in the government sector. Yes, so this was all about the government sector. And after that, let me see which will be important. This all things, sorry, this all things you can read it and let it problem, not so much. RWA housing, yes. See, when any housing society RWA is having membership from its members for maintenance charges from, so how much of that charges will be liable to tax? Now how it will be determined? See, first of all, verify that your RWA or housing society is unregistered. Its aggregate turnover has crossed the threshold limit. Now what you have to do? You have to make them register because aggregate turnover limit has been crossed. Yes. Now, after crossing the threshold limit, verify that maintenance charges per member are more than 7,500. If yes, then tax. Otherwise, in all the cases, it is exempt. In all the cases. So, in case of RWA housing society, taxability will arise only when the unregistered RWA has crossed the threshold limit and maintenance per member is more than 7,000. Yes. So this will be the case of RWA housing. Yes, this is how we have completed the exemption one. Yes, we have completed the exemption. Now, now the topic input tax credit, and I think after input tax credit, small topics are there like registration, invoice, account, TDS, TCS, e-way bill, etc., payment of tax. So up till now in this video, we have completed many things like from section number 9, I think we have reached section number 15. Yes, we have completed many. We have completed one big topic of exemption also. Yes. Now I'm going to end this video, and rest of the things will be covered as a revision in the part 3. In the part 1 itself, some topics are covered. In the part 2, we have covered today many things, and in the part 3, we are going to cover the rest of the things. Yes. So if you have liked the revision, so please do like the video, share the video, comment on the video, subscribe the channel for coming parts, third part of the revision and many more things. Yes, and if you like to have this GST Brahmastra book, so the link is given in the description itself from where you can purchase the book. So see you soon.